I didn't really think it was going to happen, so I was pretty surprised. And I just texted my head off and Facebooked my head off. And I was kind of in, I think, a state of shock for a while. I don't think it really sunk in because, like I said, I wasn't expecting it to go that way.
Yeah, same here. I was just surprised. And then, I don't know, happiness, I guess. Just watching the reaction of everybody throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of nice to know that we're legally married in all the states, not like when we're on a road trip, we're like, oh, not married in this one, married in this one, not married in this one. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
We drove to Des Moines, Iowa to get married 5 years ago.
Yeah, a little over.
And took a pastor up there with us and a few friends and got married in a park. Kansas actually never recognized our marriage,
No.
but we were the first same-sex couple, we're assuming, to, because I had my name changed back to my maiden name through our marriage license.
Yeah.
And so when I went to the Social Security Administration, it took them a while to figure out what was going on. And finally they came up and asked me in a whisper, is this a same-sex marriage? I'm like, yes. And they didn't know any better, and so they went ahead and switched my name with the marriage license. And we've heard reports from a lot of people now that are not able to switch their names through that. So I think it benefited us to be one of the first people in Ellis County to attempt that.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
The first, most relevant one was when we filed taxes. We had to file as a married couple federally and then as two individuals for the state. And I feel so bad for our tax preparer because she'd have to run through all these different programs and erase this part and add this part. So I think that's going to be lovely.
Yes, she will be happy.
Yes, she's grateful. We'd already kind of planned to make sure, like the house, the title's in both of our names.
Right.
We've already tried to take some precautions to make sure that we're taken care of if one of us were to go, or our kids are taken care of. But it's really nice to have that just sanctioned and not questioned anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Since it's recognized everywhere, like if one of us died, the other wouldn't have to fight the state for the belongings.
Yeah, or for the right to visit him in the hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting argument since their argument comes from a religious background usually, is the argument, and that is not relevant to the state and the Supreme Court.
There's a separation of church and state, and so we should be.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the backlash is probably from some folks whose religious beliefs disagree with it, but then they don't have to. Their rights have been protected from discrimination since like 1791 with freedom of religion. So if they don't want to have ceremonies in their churches, they don't have to. But as far as legal status, that should be separate, and I'm really glad that it's finally recognized. I think that a lot of people felt like interracial marriage was immoral too, so I think that the tide will change.
Yeah, they just need to get with the program. I think that it was a really big celebration, and I mean, obviously, most people are either really excited or really irritated with the decision. And I think the people that are really irritated are just going to get more irritated because we still have a long way to go. So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to work for a company that won't fire me based on my sexual orientation, but not a lot of people are that lucky. So there's probably a lot of people who got fired today when they got to work.
Yeah, it's still not a protected class, and I think who you love shouldn't bar you from having a job if there's consenting adults, or from having an apartment or other equal treatments. Yeah. So still a long way to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
When Sebelius was our governor, she had an executive order that said state agencies were not allowed to fire anyone based on sexual orientation, and that was reversed with Brownback. So anyone who's an employee of the state or whose employer's discrimination policy doesn't specifically state sexual orientation could technically be fired just for being gay.
The 10-year-old was kind of confused. I mean, at 10, your understanding of the Supreme Court's a little limited, but I think for folks to understand that it is legal to have same-sex marriage, I think maybe it's the way it's worded, is I think they thought that it was illegal before, and it's not a crime.
Right. It's just not recognized.
It just wasn't recognized, and that was kind of where the 10-year-old was at.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 21-year-old was really excited and sad that she's on the other side of the country and couldn't hang out with us to celebrate.
Saturday night, just to go out and hang out with other people who were excited for the decision. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had probably, more than a dozen people.
Yeah, close to 20 probably actually showed up.
Yeah.
Were you surprised, or what did you think of with the White House colors that night? Was that, I guess it was Friday night.
It was great.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised.
It sparked some Facebook debate, but
Absolutely.
I think that needed to happen, you know.
What doesn't spark debate anymore? But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. But it wasn't the only place. There were
a lot,
Disneyland did
yep.
it. And
Disneyland and Empire State Building, I think.
Yep.
San Francisco, a lot of city halls,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of bridges. There was a bridge in Minneapolis, I think.
San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a lot of places.
Yeah.
I think people were irritated that, especially the White House was lit up in rainbow colors, because they don't light it up in red, white, and blue was the argument. And when am I gonna have my straight pride lighting on the White House and all of that?
Every day is Straight Pride Day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I had another question. Oh, are you guys aware of anybody in Ellis County or in the area who is now interested in pursuing getting married in Ellis County or in the surrounding area that maybe has been hesitant to try it before?
I'm not sure if we haven't heard from anyone who is planning now to get married. We do have some friends who are already planning to get married in a couple weeks, but I'm not sure if it's in Ellis County.
Yeah. A lot of our friends that are married, that are same-sex marriages, obviously went out of state. And so it's just nice for them,
Yeah.
to have it recognized here, but
Yeah.
So for you guys, there's really no change in paperwork or anything that you're going to have to do.
no, it's just everybody else has to
Right.
start
yeah.
accepting it, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just taxes will be easier. That's it. Because I mean, we went through the same legal process as any heterosexual couple in the state of Iowa to get married.
Yeah.
So